Meeting to order.
Terrific, thanks. Seeing a quorum, we're going to get started. Thanks all. This is our December 19th, 2017 meeting of the Board of Advisors of the Mayor's Fund. I'm going to start with our first order of business, and that is accepting of the minutes from our last meeting. Can I hear a motion to approve those minutes from June 10th? Yes?
So moved.
So moved. Thank you, Henry. Seconded?
Second.
Thank you, Gabrielle, for our second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Terrific. That motion carries. We've got a couple quick items of business for this meeting. They're both resolutions pertaining to our rules to act on any expenditures exceeding $250,000 for program expenses. You'll see two items in front of you right now. The first is an action to approve and execute a contract with Seedco. This has to do with our implementation of a grant related to post-placement services. We're working on a program right now funded by Rockefeller that's reviewing and implementing support services for young adults who've been placed in their first jobs and helping them hold on to those jobs. So it's not just what retention looks like, but or not just what placement looks like, but what retention can build with certain supports. This is a contract with Seedco, and so I would ask if there are any questions on the item. Seeing none, I'd ask for a motion to move the item.
So moved.
Thank you, Henry. Seconded.
Second.
Thank you, Matt, for our second. All those in favor of the item?
Aye.
All those opposed? Terrific. Thank you. That resolution carries. Our next item is pertaining to the same project, the post-placement project. This one has to do with a contract that we'd like to execute with Jobs First. This is a contract that was in which Jobs First was actually written into our grant from Rockefeller. So we went with a sole source based on our funder's recommendation. Similarly, this is supporting the services related to our post-placement program. Unless there are any questions about this action, I'd ask for a motion to move the item.
So moved.
Thank you, Gabrielle. Seconded.
Second.
Thank you, Richard. All those in favor of the item?
Aye.
Thank you. All those opposed? Terrific. That motion carries. As it's our last meeting of the year, as we tend to do, try to provide some kind of financial updates. That's all of our business for the meeting. I'd like to actually turn over to Fred Begley to give a little bit of an overview on our finances before we conclude this meeting and our business for the year. Fred, you want to talk us through it?
Thank you, Darren. Yeah, in the interest of time, I'll keep our finance and ops briefing brief. If you can
Just pass the mic over to you.
I call your attention to total assets. We're pacing 27% better than we did at the start of the fiscal year. This year, you'll see the program account is significantly larger. We intend to do something with that funds, do include it in our holdings. I will elaborate more on that at a later time. Please turn your page. The chart you see in front of you is just a summary of fiscal year revenue. And with our audit is almost complete, but the numbers are audit checked. So you can count on the $21.3 million in revenue for this year, about 14% less than prior fiscal year. For the calendar year, we're projecting to bring in approximately 18 to 19 million. That's pacing roughly a pace with the previous calendar year, a little bit lower. Moving on. This chart illustrates the program allocation so far for fiscal year 18. We've received about $6.7 million. The chart depicts the approximate allocations for our most prominent initiatives and some revenue of note. You can take a look at the fundraising for our hurricane relief efforts. We've recently dispersed about $100K in funds for Hurricane Harvey specifically, and we're poised to distribute about approximately $220K remaining for those associated with Hurricane Maria efforts. Okay, the next 2 pages are simply just executed grants and contracts that occurred during the time from our last board meeting in July 10th. So you can feel free to peruse those at your convenience. And the last 2 items are a Mayor's Fund operations P&L for fiscal year to date. This just gives a snapshot of the period from July 1 until December 12th. Revenue's doing slightly better, expenses increased a little bit. The audit, as I mentioned, is almost finished, and we're almost completed with our 990, so we're on track to get those in time. And the last item I wanted to make you folks aware of is that we are exploring some options for our holdings with Alliance Bernstein. In the past year, we've had less than optimal returns on our holdings, so we're exploring changing the duration of the bond funds. So I just wanted to include this so you know what we're thinking in terms of what to do with that, because all the money that's in there is restricted program revenue, and we take good care of it, and we feel like there's options for gains if we make this minor change. So if you have any questions, feel free. And the last section of the board report is press clips that all occurred in the last couple months of some of the really awesome work that we're doing. Henry?
On the Alliance Bernstein, we currently have
We currently
have an investment protocol. Is it going to require an amendment to the investment protocol?
Yes,
So that will
it's
come
not
back to us?
required as the bylaws, but we're going to, before we do anything, you're going to be well informed and notified before we do anything. We're still, just making sure that it's the correct thing to do. We're
exploring options,
yeah.
and we're putting together the audit committee if we need to. Even with or without a policy change, we'll bring together the audit committee
The investment statement doesn't change. We're allowed to within the investment statement.
Yeah, and so with or without needing to change that investment statement, we'll still bring whatever it is that we're proposing to the audit committee for review.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Just in conclusion, I'll say, numbers aside, and I think the numbers are strong again, I think we had a pretty solid year in terms of meeting our goals, meeting our needs, and addressing the needs that you all as our board, the mayor, and our city agency partners have called out. So first of all, thank you all for the advocacy, for the help. The First Lady couldn't be with us today. She's out of town. Kevin O'Brien, our other board member, couldn't be with us as well. He's out of town, but I know they and you all have been great partners and committed to this work, so thank you. And I don't know, Richard, I know, you've announced your pending departure. I don't know exactly when the date certain is, but I'd have to say on the record, thank you for everything these last several years. You've been a partner with us since day one of this new team, and it's been great to have your thoughts, your insights, your help on all this work.
Thanks, Darren, I appreciate it. And just to you and the staff, it's been an incredible pleasure and joy, and congratulations on your hard work, and it's been great to be affiliated with it.
Terrific. I appreciate that. Unless there are any other questions on this business or any new or other business? Terrific. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Gabrielle. We'll give it to Richard on his last meeting. Richard, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Terrific. Meeting is now adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you. And sorry to be late.
Yeah.